So today we have a critical update regarding the $5,000 Doge dividend checks, also known as stimulus. A lot of people are asking, are the checks still coming? Is the bill going to get passed? What's going to happen? Well, today we are going to break this down, what has happened over the past 24 hours and over the past 7 days, what we have learned regarding these checks. Are they still going to be $5,000? Will they be much less? Or are they coming in a different way? That's what we're going to break down in just a moment. But first, what you need to understand is that these Doge dividend checks were pretty much being held up by the savings from Doge. That's it. Okay? Now, I'm going to break down some massive, major events that have happened over the past week or so, explain why this is such a big deal, and what this means for you and I moving forward, specifically as to whether or not we get a check from the federal government. So, I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and what this means for our bank accounts here in the near future. But first, before I do, all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So $5,000, wouldn't that be nice that all of a sudden you woke up one day and you had an additional $5,000 in the bank? Well, guess what? That may or may not happen. Here's what has happened. Look at this. It says, with Elon Musk stepping away from Doge, will taxpayers still get dividend checks? What to know? Now, I want to go over a little bit from this article because everyone's asking that same question. But with Elon Musk stepping away, does this increase the chances of a Doge dividend check, or does it decrease the chances of a Doge dividend check? According to experts, what this does is it doesn't change much. Simply because Elon Musk is not stepping away entirely. He's going to focus more on his companies, but he's still, according to him, going to spend between 1 to 2 days per week in Washington to handle the job that he was given. Now, here's where things are getting interesting. Elon Musk said it himself. The president and Congress are the ones that are going to decide whether or not a Doge dividend check actually occurs. But that's not entirely true. Yes, they are the ones that will put the bill on the floor. President Trump won't, but Congress will. So you need the Speaker of the House, you need the Senate Majority Leader. Both of them need to put a bill on the floor that has some type of provision in there that is going to send money to the American people. But first, in order for them to do that, Doge has to save enough money. They have to save, well, according to the initial report, was $2 trillion. I want to show you something. Look at this right here. It says, since February, Musk has revised the goal for Doge to reach in savings from $2 trillion to $1 trillion. When this was written, we were sitting at $150 billion. It says as of April 23rd, Doge reports it has saved an estimated $160 billion from cutting government spending in various areas. It is unclear if meeting the current goal means stimulus checks would be on the way soon. Elon Musk was very clear, okay, that the goal for Doge was to cut costs, okay, save the federal government money. Well, I want to show you something. Because again, this is where we're at. We're sitting at $160 billion. Far from the $1 trillion new updated goal. Meaning, we still have $840 billion to get to before we reach that $1 trillion goal. And keep in mind, what the initial proposal was not to give 100% of the savings to the American people. It's to give 20%. Meaning that once we reach $1 trillion in savings, 20% of that, or $200 billion, will go back to the American people, roughly 80 million people. That would mean every single household, about 80 million households, would receive not $5,000, but $2,500 as a payment. Again, we're far from that. We are 16% there, okay? Far from that. But this is why I'm showing this to you, because we continue to see reports like this. where it says Doge stimulus check update given by creator. Bill is forthcoming. The bill is coming. Okay? Let's be 100% honest, be very clear on this. A bill that includes money going back to the American people. It is floating through Washington, D.C. Does it have an immense amount of supporters? Unfortunately not. Okay? Because what we are asking from Congress is to give us money back that we have already given to the federal government to spend. Here's the problem. The federal government spent it. They don't have the money. I want to show you this article right here. Look at this. It says, what money? It says, I see a lot of discussion about the government, what the government should do with the $1 trillion that Doge intends to save by reducing wasteful government spending. In fact, this is not a meaningful question, as even in the unlikely scenario where Doge achieves $1 trillion in savings, there would be no money available to disperse. Here's why. It says, of course, the government can send checks to the public if it wishes, but that's not because it has money. In the ordinary definition of the term, it is because it is able to borrow money, assuming the following data. I want to show you this. Okay? A lot of people say, well, Elon Musk is going to save us $1 trillion. No, Elon Musk is going to help get us to lower our spending by $1 trillion. It doesn't mean we have an additional $1 trillion in the bank. Look at this. Federal spending is estimated to be at $6.2 trillion. The estimated revenue, and again, the IRS says we are about $500 billion off of what we should have actually received, but it's supposed to be $4.4 trillion. Meaning we have a deficit of $1.8 trillion. This is why Elon Musk came out and said, I'm going to save you $2 trillion. Well, now it's revised and it's $1 trillion. Look at this though. It says, if Doge were able to reduce spending by $1 trillion, cutting the total down to $5.2 trillion, then the budget deficit would fall to $800 billion. But that would not mean the government had $1 trillion in cash that it could disperse as it wishes. Rather, it would mean the federal government was borrowing $1 trillion less. Here's the biggest issue, and I've said this before. There are deficit hawks that do not want to deficit spend, meaning they don't want to borrow money in order to run the government. They want to reduce costs far enough that now we are operating at a surplus. We have not been there in a while. Okay? Here's the problem though. How do we, and especially for Republicans, and I said this before, that Republicans were coming out and publicly stating that they have to do something for the American people because Elon Musk and President Trump himself said that was a good idea. Let's give the American people $5,000 Doge dividend checks because they will help us save money. Well, they haven't put those plans into place yet, where they're going to give the American people a Doge dividend check if we help them find the wasteful spending, the fraud, and the abuse. Now, there's new programs out there that are going and finding all the fraud. So just be aware of that. They also just announced the other day that the Trump administration is going to go after the student loan debt. The $1.6 trillion by 42 million student loan borrowers. They're going to go after that because what we have learned is that, according to reports, 5 million student loan borrowers are currently in default, okay, by more than 360 days. We also have another, I think, 4 million people that are estimated that they will go into default within the next 3 to 6 months. That is a huge issue. That means we have about 9.3 million student loan borrowers that we are going to see wage garnishments. The tax refunds will go straight to the federal government. Okay, they are going to send those debts to collection. That's what we're going to face. So again, the federal government is trying to increase revenues, but at the same time, how do we decrease spending? So, to answer the question, will Elon Musk stepping away, does that increase the chances of us getting a Doge dividend check? The answer is no. Okay? What Elon Musk stepping away does is now he's out of the public eye. Okay? Now he's not in Washington 5 days a week. This is what one person said. Elon would be more open to talking publicly about stimulus as opposed to the rest of Doge. It would benefit him quite a bit from a Tesla standpoint if he was able to successfully give the American people or net taxpayers $5,000, because they would be more likely, and they're more likely to be the ones that would go and buy a Tesla. So it would benefit him if the American people did receive an additional stimulus check. This person says, but Congress makes the decision, not Mr. Musk. Says all Elon would have done is put pressure on Doge to make more cuts. He doesn't need to be there for that. Okay, he can make a phone call. He doesn't need to be in Washington in order to say, hey, we need more cuts. Elon Musk isn't the one going over the paperwork. He's not doing those things. Okay, he's just the one kind of heading the whole thing. So what I can tell you right now, Elon Musk stepping away, in my honest opinion, does that increase the chances of a Doge dividend check, or does it decrease it? Well, honestly, the Doge dividend check is something that less and less people are talking about, because it's turning into more of a, how can we provide relief? And according to multiple friends of mine, some of which are very, very close to people that make decisions, they are the ones saying that this is what they're looking at. Not as a stimulus check, because stimulus it's not a great word to be using, especially when we're talking about inflation. They want to talk about tax credits, tax cuts. They want to talk about providing additional relief. So, and again, I want to bring this up because in this article, okay, in this article right here, this What Money article, and I want to find it for you, because in this, they're talking about ways to not keep borrowing money, but give it to the American people that actually need it. Okay, this right here, it says Trump and Musk float idea of $5,000 Doge dividend checks. Here's what experts say. Okay, it says so what's the counter argument to my post? How could someone defend the proposal to refund $1 trillion to the public? The argument would have several components. Keep in mind, how do we give you, technically, if it's $1 trillion, we're going to give back $200 billion. How do we give back $200 billion to you, but yet we don't have any money? Okay, it says right here, first, you'd argue that the budget deficit is not a real problem. This is also why lawmakers want to raise the deficit, okay, raise the debt ceiling, okay, and there's no reason to reduce our current deficit of 1.8 trillion. You might cite some sort of MMT model. Obviously, I think that's wrong, but let's go with the assumption for the moment. Second, you'd have to argue that we'd be better off reducing spending on current programs by $1 trillion and increasing spending on transfers to the public by $1 trillion. So essentially, we're going to cut spending here for different programs. And again, I've talked about this before, what they're currently discussing. But again, one of them, they want to reduce the amount of Social Security Administration offices. That's going to reduce some of the spending. They want to provide or kind of change and update the work requirements for SNAP benefits. That's another one. Okay, so all these different changes, they want to reduce spending to those programs. So we're going to reduce spending for these people, and then we'll take that money and give it to them over here. That's essentially what's going to happen. That's exactly what a couple of my friends have said, again, that are very close to the decision makers in Washington. Okay, and when I say decision makers, I'm talking about a representative from the state or a state senator as well. Okay, so when they say that what they're discussing is still providing relief to the American people and their constituents, but at the same time, this is relief. It's not a stimulus check, it's relief. Just changing the words. That's really all it is, but essentially, it's giving you some money back. So that's kind of where we're at this point. Do I think we're going to see some form of stimulus? Yes, I do. Okay, according to multiple reports, according to multiple people that I'm close with, they say yes, there is relief coming. There is some form of stimulus, if you will, that will be on the table. But as far as this Doge dividend check, the idea isn't dead, but It's less and less likely, simply because Doge is not able to successfully find $1 trillion in savings quickly. It's going to take a lot of time. So we'll see what happens, but as we get more information, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.